I'm Courtney, and I'm here in Esther's house with my little assistant Ava. And we thought it'd be fun to show you how to make the perfect oatmeal, or porridge as you call it in the UK. And I like to make it with rhubarb compote on top. And it's like the perfect mixture of sweet and slightly sour. So we're going to show you both how to make porridge, which many of you probably already know, and how to make rhubarb compote, and both are super easy and super simple and can be done in the morning, before school, on a weekend, whenever. So the first thing we'll do is go and pick some rhubarb in Esther's prize-worthy rhubarb bush. Shall we? My dad taught me that the way to pick rhubarb is actually to pull it straight out of the ground, trying to get the kind of red root. And apparently that's the best way for your rhubarb bush to continue growing and growing new leaves. So I always like to pick the big leaves that are kind of taking the sun away from the smaller ones, and then I just give it a good yank and pull all the way from the root so you get that big thing from the bottom. And these rhubarb stems and leaves are like bigger than Ava. They're enormous. This is like a prize-worthy bush. Then you just take off the tops, throw them in your stack of garden compost, and then you just bring in this bit to the kitchen. Okay, so Ava, we're going to cut off, the dirty bit at the end. So cut that bit off, just set it aside, and we'll do that for all of them, if I can get that to cut. And then you're just going to chop it up into small pieces about like that. Well, a bunch of chopped up rhubarb. Yes? Thank you for your help, Assistant Ava. Yeah. All the way. There we go. Yeah. So now that we have a pot of chopped up rhubarb, we just need to add a tiny bit of water. Rhubarb releases moisture as it cooks, and the mistake can often be adding too much water and it becomes too liquidy, and I quite like it thicker and slightly chunkier. So we just add a tiny bit of water, about that much, and if we need more later, we can always add more later. The next step is to add the vanilla seeds. So you take a vanilla pod and you slice open down the length of it, not cutting all the way through, and then you take your knife and you just scrape out the black seeds from the inside, and you'll get this kind of black sticky substance on your knife. And I just kind of put it in on top of the rhubarb and just try to scrape out as much of the vanilla seeds as you can. And then what I like to do is just throw the vanilla pod into the rhubarb and cook it, and it kind of takes the flavor from that as it cooks. While your compote is cooking, which actually goes more quickly than you think it's going to go, then you quickly start your oatmeal. And that's super easy. The first thing you need are your oats. So I'm just going to reach up. And with oatmeal, it's really easy to remember. If you have 1 cup of oats, you need 2 cups of milk. If you have 2 cups of oats, you need 4 cups of milk. So it's double the milk. And so with my family, we do 3 cups of oats, 6 cups of milk. And that's half a cup of oats per person. So the rhubarb compote is cooking now, and it's getting soft, as you can see. And this is a point where, if you want, you can add other types of fruit. So this rhubarb from Esther's garden was really green, and as you can see, it's not the prettiest color. It's a really green kind of, it's getting to be a green mushy substance. And I like to add blackberries or strawberries or raspberries or something that's going to give it a bit of color. So I have here some kind of older strawberries, and I'm just going to add those. Strawberries and rhubarb go really well together, and I think it'll make it a nicer color. So in perfect timing, both the compote and the oatmeal are finished at the same time. If your compote is too thick, you can always add a bit more water. I had to add just a splash more water while I was cooking this. And now is the time to add sugar, and this is entirely up to your taste. I prefer it a little bit sour, so we make sure we don't add too much sugar. But I just kind of eyeball it. But this is a big pot, so it might need more than usual. And so you just add the sugar and stir it in, and it has the texture sort of applesauce, and that's perfect. Now we're ready. Shall we go? Okay, here's yours, and here's mine, and I have the compote. Shall we go?
Yummy?